Good morning, students. Today is our lecture number 3. It is about the age of Plato and Aristotle. In the previous lecture, we had we discussed what literary criticism is, and I also mentioned the critics we are going to study in this semester. So we will, inshallah, start with Plato. We'll start with, of course, Aristotle, but Aristotle is incomplete without Plato. Plato के बगैर Aristotle जो है वो incomplete है. So we have to study first of all Aristotle, Plato. Then we will talk about politics of Aristotle. So let's talk about the age of Plato and Aristotle, the characteristics of the age. If we talk about the characteristics of the age, so we can find that, as I told you, though, that in order to appreciate Aristotle's poetics, it is very important to know Plato's theory of poetry. As mentioned or as he explained in Book 10 of the Republic, Plato was the most important literary critic before largely concerned with teaching with the methods of education best suited to produce good men, good citizens, and good rulers. The aim of his criticism is utilitarian and practical. If you talk about the aim of Plato's criticism, so it is utilitarian and practical, that of educating the youth and making them good citizens of his ideal state. It was in this context of education that Plato made his famous attack on poets. Now let me tell you about contemporary social scene. Students are joining very late. Students जो बहुत गफलत का मुजाहरा कर रहे हैं, समझ से बाहर है. I don't know why they are joining very late and why they are not taking it seriously. Then they will face the music later on. बाद में उनको इसको भुगतना पड़ेगा. Attendance आगे तुझे दिखानी पड़ेगी. ठीक है. So kindly students take your class, join it on time. So let's talk about now contemporary social scene. Political upheavals and oligarchic revolutions. Means you will find political upheavals means political uh, instability instability and political problems over there in that particular age. Plato was born in 427 BC, some 3 years after the outbreak of the Peloponnesian War. It is a war, and he was born 3 years after the outbreak of the war. And this is a war which continued for 23 years. And just over a year after the death of Pericles, Plato was from a distinguished family with many political connections. His family had, there were many members of his family who had political connections. Remember, he grew up in a city of war. He grew up in a city in the state of at war. As I told you, the war they began 3 years before his after before his birth. It continued for 23 years. So the war which began before his birth lasted until he was 23. Sorry, जब वो 23 साल का हुआ प्लेटो तब जाकर वो वॉर खत्म हुई. इसका इसका मतलब है वो वॉर 23 से ज़्यादा साल, हो सकता है 25-26 साल तक वो वॉर जारी रही. And he grew up. He grew up and he spent his childhood, he spent his teenage during that war. So it also had its impact on him. Now that war lasted until he was 23, and that war ended in defeat and humiliation for Athens. जब वो war end का एंड हुआ तो काफ़ी जो है उनको शिकस्त हुई एथेंस को, एंड दे वर ह्यूमिलिएटेड, एंड it ended in the breakup of the confederation which she had led since the Persian War, और वो confederation जो एक उनका वफाक था वो भी टूट गया politically. Thus it was a time, that is why it is called, it was a time of political decline and uncertainty. ये जो वक्त था ये पॉलिटिकल डिक्लाइन का था और अनसर्टेनिटी का था. अब पेरिकल्स कौन था? he dominated Athenian affairs of for 30 years, and he died in 425 BC, and he became the victim of the plague which visited Athens in the early years of the war. वॉर के शुरू के दिनों में ताउन की बीमारी वहाँ पर आई थी, जिस ताउन की बीमारी का शिकार ये रूलर हुआ और ये से उसकी डेथ हुई. That plague brought death and demoralization with it. So दूसरी जो चीज़ है, this was the first thing, political decline and uncertainty. Remember, Socrates was also killed. Socrates हम कहते हैं, Socrates was the teacher of Plato, and Plato was the teacher of Aristotle, and Aristotle was the teacher of Alexander, the great Alexander जिसको कहा जाता है सिकंदर आज़म, इस तरह कुछ नाम है उनका. So the first was Socrates pupil, यानी उसका शागिर्द जो था वो अफलातून था. प्लेटो का जो शागिर्द था वो अरस्तु था, जिसे हम एरिस्टोटल कहते हैं, और एरिस्टोटल की पोएटिक्स को हमने स्टडी करनी है. एंड एरिस्टोटल्स pupil और स्टूडेंट was the great Alexander. तो पहली जो चीज़ थी उस दौर में वो थी पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी, डिक्लाइन एंड अनसर्टेनिटी. Second thing was education. Education was in a very terrible state. तालीम का बहुत ही बुरा हाल था उस दौर में. तालीम का बहुत ही बुरा हाल था. Education was in a very sorry state. The study of poetry, especially of the works of Homer, was the traditional Greek mode of education for boys and young men before they were considered intellectually mature enough to begin the study of philosophy. इससे पहले कि वो इंटेलेक्चुअल बनते और वो फिलोसफी को स्टडी करते तो उनको किन्हें स्टडी करना पड़ता? दे हैड टू स्टडी द पोएट्री, स्पेशली ऑफ द वर्क्स ऑफ होमर. होमर लाजमी होता था जिसको उन्हें स्टडी करना पड़ता था. The epics of Homer formed as essential part of school curriculum. होमर की जो एपिक्स थी, होमर वाज अ ग्रेट ग्रीक पोएट, उसकी जो एपिक्स थी, उसकी जो पोएम्स थी एपिक्स वाला, वो स्कूल करिकुलम का हिस्सा हुआ करती थी. Plato discusses the school syllabus in Book 2 of the Republic, where the decree of banishment from the ideal state is made against the poets. अच्छा, तीसरी चीज जो है जो उस दौर में देखी गई, अच्छा थोड़ी सी और तीसरी जो चीज थी वो ये थी, women were considered inferior beings. Women had no respect at all. They were terribly treated. They were looked down upon as nothing, as inferior beings. They were deprived of education and had no right for voting. औरतों को जो है पैरों की जूती भी नहीं समझी जाती थी, उनको वोट देने का इख्तियार नहीं था. They had no respect at all. Slavery was widespread. Again, I'm telling you, I'm talking about the age of Plato and Aristotle. Slavery was widespread. Slavery के तो गुलामी जो थी वो हर जगह फैली हुई थी. As slaves were considered worthless beings, and they had no right for voting either. उनको भी हक राय दही की बिल्कुल इजाजत नहीं थी. Are you getting my voice clearly? आप लोगों को मेरी आवाज क्लियर आ रही है?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. So remember, I'm telling you about the age of Plato and Aristotle. And who is Plato and who is Aristotle? I told you in the very beginning. Literary criticism begins properly with the criticism made by Plato. प्लेटो को पढ़े बगैर criticism, literary criticism. Remember, I'm talking about literary criticism. और literary criticism क्या होता है? सेकंड लेक्चर जो रिकॉर्ड करके आपको भेजा गया उसमें आप पढ़ लीजिएगा उसमें क्या होता है literary criticism. So literary criticism begins properly with Plato because Plato was the person who was a philosopher. First he was a poet, but then later on he stopped writing poetry. Why? Because in that age poets were not doing their job properly. Poets were, just making the youth covered, and they were just, you know जिस तरह आजकल शायर जो काम कर रहे हैं, मतलब लव थीम उनका है, और दे आर जस्ट, टेकिंग पीपल टू अनदर वर्ल्ड विच इज मीनिंगलेस, तो वही काम पोइट्स उस वक्त कर रहे थे. सो he stopped writing poetry, and then he became philosopher. When he became philosopher, so he presented the idea of an ideal state. उसने एक ख्याली रियासत का एक खाका पेश किया. In that ideal state, he discarded or banished all the poets. उस ख्याली रियासत में उसने तमाम शायरों को उसने कहा कि शायरों को अपने इस ख्याली रियासत में मत लाएगा. Since Plato was also a statesman, so he presented the idea of an ideal state कि ये एक ideal state का जो है एक खाली खाका है जो मैं पेश कर रहा हूँ, और इस आइडियल स्टेट में शायरों की जगह नहीं है. एंड वाई दिस इज वी विल इंशाल्लाह डिस्कस इन फोर्थ लेक्चर. लेकिन अभी इस वक्त की बात हो रही है कि उस वक्त की क्या व्हाट द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर एज. हमने पहले पढ़ा पॉलिटिकल अनसर्टेनिटी एंड डिक्लाइन, पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी. पहली तो ये चीज़ थी. वाई? क्योंकि एक जंग थी, वो जारी थी, एंड दैट वॉर कंटिन्यूड फॉर 23 ईयर्स, और मोर देन 23 ईयर्स. जैसे हमने देखा अफगानिस्तान में जंग जारी थी, तो जब जंगें हो रही होती हैं तो पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी आती नहीं, सीधी सी बात है, और लोगों का बहुत ही बुरा हाल होता है, महंगाई और सब चीज़ें उरूज पर होती है, एंड देयर इज़ नो सर्टेनिटी. फिर दूसरी बुरी चीज़ हमने देखी कि तालीम का बहुत बुरा हाल था. एजुकेशन वॉज इन टेरिबल स्टेट. Third thing that we have discussed is women. The position of women was extremely terrible. They were considered inferior beings. They had no right to get to cast their votes. They had no right to participate in any field. Slavery जो था वो बहुत आम था. Slaves were considered worthless beings, and they had no right for voting either. इसी तरह से the residents who were born somewhere else and they came to live in Athens, they also did not qualify for citizenship. लोगों को citizenship नहीं मिलती थी. And the Greeks, they used to live in city states, small communities consisting of a city nucleus. The sovereign body at Athens was the assembly and mass meeting of adult male citizens. So सब कुछ adult male citizens ही decide किया करते थे. इसके बाद जो चौथी चीज़ है, fourth thing, it was hero worship. It is very famous about Greeks that they give importance to strong men. Even it is said that they start worshipping those who are very powerful, those who are very good at fighting skills, those who are very good at war skills. So they are given very much importance, or they are, in fact, sometimes they even worship that person. So courage and the skillful use of arms were considered as great virtues, and Greek believed in hero worship. As I told you, Greek believed in many gods. तो कोई भी उनके सामने ताकत का मुजाहरा कर देता तो वो उसको भी गॉड का दर्जा दे देते. तो वो तो they don't believe in one god, they believe in many gods. So that is why they had hero worship. इसके बाद जो फिफ्थ चीज थी, the fifth thing was their golden age was over. उनका जो एक सुनहरा दौर था वो खत्म हो गया था. When Plato was active and Aristotle was born, so remember their golden age was over. Now golden age means the golden age of Greek art and literature came to an end. Creative impulse had died away. Creative impulse में जो creativity थी उनके अंदर वो भी खत्म हो गई. the literature became immoral and third class. लिटरेचर की हालत ये हो गई थी कि उसमें वल्गर एलिमेंट्स, उसमें ग्लैमर बहुत आ गया था, एंड इट बिकेम थर्ड क्लास, और वो बिल्कुल किसी काम का नहीं रहा. Again, the literature became vulgar, immoral, and third class. Poetry could no longer captivate the heart of the people and became an object of much criticism. और पोइट्री के अंदर भी वो चीज़ नहीं रही. जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा ना, आजकल भी आज पोइट्री उठा के देख लिया तो what you will get from poetry, it will arouse your bad emotions, it will arouse your uh, that emotion which are better to be suppressed. For example, when we listen to a song, so what happens? We go to another world, and that world is imaginative world. Imaginative world has nothing to do with reality. So उससे हम हमारे जज्बात बढ़ते हैं, ख्वाहिशात बढ़ती हैं, और फिर जब ये चीज़ें बढ़ती हैं तो हम बुराई की तरफ जाते हैं, and then we start committing crimes, sins, and we deceive people, or and all these things when we do, so it becomes, it creates problem in the society. It creates problem in the society, and when society is in trouble, so it means our country is in trouble. एक फर्द वाहिद की वजह से पूरी सोसाइटी, फिर पूरा कंट्री तकलीफ आ जाता है. तो एक फर्द वाहिद मुल्क के लिए अच्छा काम भी कर सकता है, और एक फर्द वाहिद, one individual person can bring bad name upon the country as well. So that time poetry was not, uh, doing poetry was not as it should be. So the golden age, according to the critics, was over. Then you will find when poets did not do their job properly, so what happened? Philosophers and orators. Orators कहते हैं जो publicly बहुत ज़बरदस्त गुफ्तगू करते हैं. Philosophers and orators, they started appearing. They started coming to the public. So this story state of affairs raised the image of philosophers and orators. इस टेरिबल स्टेट और हालत से क्या हुआ कि इमेज philosophers और orators होते हैं, they started, you know, coming to the scene, and they started participating in different activities, and they were considered superior to poets and artists. फिर उनको poets और artists से ज़्यादा तरजीहात मिली. In the contemporary society, there was confusion everywhere. And in such an age of uncertainty and confusion, Plato came. और इसी दौर में Plato जो था, he came on the literary scene and took up the cudgels of on behalf of philosophy, and he came as a philosopher. Now, what is the main purpose of Plato's criticism? ये एक सवाल जहन में आता है कि Plato criticized poetry, he criticized poets, and in politics, Aristotle, who was his student, he defended poetry and poets against the attack of his teacher Plato. Now, what is the main purpose of Plato's criticism? Plato ने criticize किया तो उसका मकसद क्या था? So the main purpose of Plato's criticism, if you read, so we can find the main purpose of his criticism is to establish the superiority of philosophy over poetry. He wanted to establish, or he wanted people to consider philosophy more superior or superior to poetry. As I told you that poetry, according to Plato, was not as good as it should be, or poets were not doing their job in a proper way. So that's why philosophers had to emerge, and that's why he wanted to establish the superiority of philosophy over poetry. And then you will find Plato's criticism undoubtedly had great significance because it gave direction to the later criticism. इन्हीं प्लेटो की क्रिटिसिज्म की वजह से बाद में जो क्रिटिसिज्म है वो कंटिन्यू हुई और जारी रही. Remember, I'm talking about literary criticism. It gave direction to the later criticism, and in it it can be traced, there can be traced a number of doctrines of antiquity, and in the suggestive and stimulating quality of his writing, he remains unsurpassed. And Aristotle, who was the pupil of Plato, later on defended poetry and poets against the attack of his teacher